Hi everyone, Ron Crider reporting for duty today. Today it's Tuesday, it's February the 9th. Time is 8:52. I'm reporting something today that I think is very interesting. It has nothing to do with the pandemic. In fact, most of you people won't find it very interesting at all because it's a little bit on the edge of being techie. So techie, I clearly don't totally understand it myself. However, a good friend of mine for over 30 years contacted me over the weekend about this device that she was involved in out in Scottsdale, Arizona. Essentially, it sounds like a perpetual motion machine, but the interesting part about it is it was developed by a gentleman by the name of Dennis Danzig. And it is a device that generates electricity with magnets. And so essentially, it doesn't really cost anything. It doesn't require any batteries or anything to make it go, and it continues to run pretty much indefinitely. I don't know how long the magnets last. I understand they may last for quite some time, like a number of years. They do have this machine, or did have it operating in Las Vegas for 400 and some days until they brought it back to the factory to evaluate it after it had been operating. But it's a phenomenal device, and the bottom line here is it gets its source of energy from these minerals that they extract from coal mines that are no longer mining coal. They can get in there and start taking these elements out of the coal mines and use them, so there won't be any pollution involved. Anyway, it's a very interesting device. It's an interesting concept. In fact, it is so interesting it could absolutely change the entire world. Now, it starts out by saying if it's too good to believe, you probably shouldn't believe it. There are a number of naysayers standing on the sidelines saying, oh, yeah, is this some sort of a scam? What's going on here? Is this really possible? Well, I had the opportunity to meet with the gentleman, with the design engineer. He's an MIT guy. He's a Harvard gentleman. Very, very smart, but down-to-earth guy. And I met with a couple of the other people. I met with them virtually the other day, and I haven't stopped thinking about it since I met with them. And in addition to that, I've talked to a number of my friends who are absolutely, totally blown away by it, but have skepticism as to how it's possible that this could happen. And second, how come it hasn't been sold for billions of dollars to somebody like Tesla or General Motors or something such as that? Anyway, long story short, I'd like you to take a look at this video. It's about 9 minutes long, if you're interested in techie type stuff. Otherwise, forget it. It's going to be pretty boring too. But it could totally revolutionize the concept of how we generate electricity. We could generate enough electricity to run our homes, schools. We could use it for automobiles. There's any number of things that it could be used for, thereby eliminating the need for petroleum of any kind whatsoever. Now, I'm thinking pretty far ahead, but think about this. If you go back to the book 1984, or think about computers back in the 60s, just a little glimmer like, they'll never really be anything. Or the internet in the 60s. Or cell phones before there were any cell phones. It was kind of like a Dick Tracy phone. Or walking on the moon. All of those things were unheard of when I was growing up in the 40s and early 50s, and they're reality now and a major part of our lives every day. So who's to say that this can't be? Personally, I can't believe these people would be telling me fibs, wasting my time or theirs. And second, I'm going to go there and see it, touch it, and feel it, and I'm going to find out for myself exactly what it's all about. Give me your thoughts. Just send me an email or respond to this video because I'm curious to see what you think about it, because we played this back in a couple of years and see who was right. I can hardly wait to see. All right, here we go. Let's take a look at it.
I'm from the old school. Well, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Well, sometimes you have to realize that once in a while, it is true.
Can you imagine having a system that produces this type of energy without the need of wind, sun, or traditional fuels?
I see the Earth engine in 5 years not just being a replacement for your typical power usage, but literally being a replacement for every single thing that needs some sort of motor to run it.
It's capable of producing power without any pollution, without using any finite resources. It's amazing technology.
Began when I was just a kid, so I grew up during the space race.
Of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the Earth.
I had a couple of older brothers that were engineers, and my oldest brother, Erwin, his nickname was Win, he wanted me to have good hobbies, so one of those hobbies was physics. So we started watching some 8mm reels, not the kind you hope your brother would bring home, but from a professor of electrical engineering in England, and his name was Dr. Eric Laithwaite.
This is an experiment with a spinning wheel.
And Laithwaite invented a lot of things that we take for granted today. The maglev train, of course the rail gun, even the device that originally tracked and operated disk drives in computers. Those are all things that stem from Dr. Laithwaite's work. I was just awestruck when I would watch these as a kid, and my brother encouraged me to pick something in physics that would be interesting, and I picked magnetism.
I only do things today that interest me and that are actually going to make a change. It's going to, change the world that we live in today. So when I first met with Dennis, who is pretty much a genius in this field, I started looking at the opportunities, those things that can be done. And in all the things that I have done, which are many, this appears to be the most disruptive thing that I've ever been involved in.
Tesla said that eventually man would connect his machines to the very wheelwork of nature, and the wheelwork of nature is magnetism. The Earth engine is a way, very simply, to take pressure from magnetic force. Just like when you were a kid, you put two magnets together, you soon found that they not only attract, but they repel. In very simple terms, it's a way to harvest that pressure between those repulsed magnets.
Dennis's brain never seems to stop, so he's constantly got new ideas that he wants to try out.
I've been with Dennis for 15 years. He doesn't give up. He looks for another avenue out, which is how we got where we are. Because if we would have just said, oh, we can't make that work. Oh, I can't understand how that works. What do we do now? You're done. You quit. You just go away. But that's not Dennis. He doesn't do that. He doesn't quit and go away.
As far as the technology, it's fascinating. I'm thrilled to be fortunate enough to be a part of it.
So we're basically, if you will, pioneering our way through it. There isn't a touchstone or reference for us to go back to.
We're always developing. We're always trying to improve, and we're always learning because this is really different technology. There's a lot of things we're coming across you can't look up on the web or anyplace else.
So basically, at this point, we're writing the book on how to do what we're doing while we're doing it.
I told him we need a library of everything we've tried,
It's really exciting to be able to design things ourselves that no one else has ever designed. It's all unique, brand new things.
It's amazing that you look at the clock and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon and you've been here since 5 in the morning and you don't even realize it. Time goes, because I really enjoy this. This is going to change the world, and I'm blessed to be part of it.
I'm involved in this, and I do this for many reasons. I'm at a point in my life where I'm fortunate I don't need to work. I've had plenty of jobs. But I see the need for us to help each other. And in my particular case, I have 8 grandchildren, and I look around and I wonder, after they get their degrees, what the hell are they going to do? There's not a lot out there for them to do, number one. And number two, there's no real new technology other than this. So if you take this technology and you start applying it to other applications, we open up a whole new world. I mean, if you think of what you can do with magnetic propulsion, it just is unlimited.
Approximately 8-9 years ago, I saw that Dr. Laithwaite's videos were actually on the internet. That really got me motivated to take what I had in my head my entire life and say, I better apply this or someone else will. And so I took that knowledge and I went to work in 2010. And today we're sitting here with a commercial earth engine. If you don't physically experience it, it is very, very difficult to comprehend. Harvesting a magnetic field is incredibly difficult because almost everything on the planet has carbon in it. So therefore it's attracted to a magnetic field, and that's very, very easy to understand. If you have a magnet, you have a paper clip, and you let it go, it's going to stick to it. So taking that and being able to control that magnetic field, in other words, be able to turn it on or off without the use of electricity, has been the desire of a lot of inventors, innovators, scientists, and engineers. Inductance Energy Corporation is the first company to be able to harness that force and actually put it to commercial use.
When you start thinking of the bigger picture, what does this have the potential to do to not only to the community or the city, to the state, to the nation, to the world? It really has a global impact and opportunity. When you look at the numbers of how that pans out in terms of actual kilowatts produced, actual energy created, it completely replaces any need for any other technology.
What's really unique about this is if you took this system and you stuck it in the middle of the ocean, it could produce the same electricity as you could in downtown Manhattan. You're able to produce not just electricity, but if you want to operate a pump, you want to operate a sewage treatment plant, you want to operate a compressor, it produces horsepower. Uniquely to what Dennis has developed here is that most magnets will produce energy, right? But they dissipate over time. But more importantly, they don't create torque. What he has developed, which is really the secret to it, is it creates torque. And torque allows you to use it for many different applications. You could conceivably use it for the engine of a car.
The Earth engine's implications for the planet are no less than dramatic. In places that are completely underserved because people are impoverished, once that you can deliver energy, just power. It doesn't have to be electrical energy. It could be the power to operate a pump, the ability to move septic, the ability to pump water, the ability to clean water. All of these things are a problem solved when you have magnetic propulsion, as we call it, the Earth engine.
Well, I hope you found that interesting and enlightening. It certainly was and is to me. Like I say, I haven't been able to sleep since I first heard about this. All the people that I have called and told about it said that they had heard a little bit of something about going on, but they didn't actually believe it existed. This does exist. There's a half a dozen of these machines operating at the Scottsdale plant that I am going to be able to see when I go out there. So I think it's an incredible concept, operating things with magnets. Magnets are what drives this whole device, these devices. And it doesn't have to be, it could be a pump, it could be an engine for a car, it could be a power plant. It could be just any number of things that can be run by these magnets. Now, obviously, they have to scale up and make these things happen. Anyway, pretty interesting stuff. So if you like it, give me a like and let me know what you think about it, and I will report to you. I'll do some video along the way while I'm out there, and I'll also do a good report on it when I get back. But this, I believe, conceivably could be the wave of the future, something that none of us even thought about 2 weeks ago? Here we go. All right. Thank you very much, folks. Have a great day. I look forward to seeing you back here again when I get back from my trip out there.